A lot of people are already dooming One Punch Man Season 3 saying it will be nothing but still frames and dialogue. But what if I told you the very first teaser from 2024 might actually prove the opposite? Ah yes, typical easy quart milking One Punch Man video. You love to see it. But anyways, hey guys and welcome back to another brand new One Punch Man video. And yes, today I would like to talk about something that is really interesting about One Punch Man Season 3. Specifically, the forgotten PV that was released way back in 2024. I have briefly talked about it in my last video, but I would like to actually make an entire video talking about how important that scene actually is for the anime itself. And since a lot of people already brush it off as just a quote-unquote pre-animated teaser, but guess what? That same cut has now resurfaced in the brand new commercial for One Punch Man Season 3. And I think that this tells a lot about the production and where the anime is heading. So in this video, I'll talk about the pre-animated trailer itself, why it matters, the improvement, and what this means for the action scenes in Season 3. So before that, don't forget to subscribe and like so that I can continue make more One Punch Man video daily for you guys. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alright, let's start with the PV itself. Back in 2024, One Punch Man Season 3 dropped the special announcement trailer, which many labeled as quote-unquote pre-animated. And that is not wrong, that is definitely true. The cut we saw was literally solo key animated by Kenichiro Aoki, one of JC Staff's biggest trump cards when it comes to actions. The trailer showed Garou facing off against King the Reaper and the Insect God, and even though it was just 30 seconds long, the action was sharp, dynamic, and immediately stood out. And the supervision was done by Kazunori Ozawa, one of the best effects animator in the industry, which explains why the scene looks so polished. But here's the thing, because it was labeled pre-animated, a lot of people just dismissed it, assuming it was non-canon to the actual anime production. But that is not how it works. Pre-animated trailers can make their way into the final product. Look at Jujutsu Kaisen. Its PV was pre-animated too, but the cuts were still done by the core staff and carried over in the actual episodes itself. Same with Mushoku Tensei, thank you Shinji for this extra information, which reused parts of its pre-animated trailer in the final anime with some tweaks to match the episode style. While there are some cases where it doesn't really go their way, and that is literally when the studio completely outsources the trailer to a different team, such as Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 1. That PV was actually directed by Shuhei Yabuta, the director of Vinland Saga, who wasn't even part of Attack on Titan's production team. The PV also had animators like Yoshimichi Kameda, who again didn't even appear in the actual episodes at all. Meanwhile, the core anime production was actually under Yuichiro Hayashi and his team. So you had two separate pipelines running in parallel. One was just trying to create a flashy promotion video, and the other was desperately struggling to get the episodes ready. This disconnect is why almost all of those PV shots were abandoned, and also why part 1 of the final season Attack on Titan had so many struggles. And also the fact that there is studio change and the transition wasn't that simple. It wasn't just swapping studios, it involved a completely staff overhaul, a brand new production pipeline, and even entirely new character designs for season 4, in which why they are definitely struggling for Attack on Titan the final season part 1. Also, not to forget, MAPPA also needed something to show the world while the main team was still deep in production hell. Honestly, if I actually hadn't been the director, and with his experience handling CG in Dorohedoro, season 4 part 1 might actually have looked way worse. Maybe even on the level of 7 Deadly Sins. I would say that his direction is the reason those episodes were still watchable. But for One Punch Man Season 3, it's a different story. Kenichiro Aoki is already part of the main stuff, and the fact that his cut from 2024 just reappeared in the brand new CM pretty much confirms that it's being reused and adapted for the actual episode. Which honestly makes sense, it would be a waste to let that high quality scene just sit in an old teaser. Talking about CM, let's talk about the improvement that has been made. If you compare the earlier 15-second CM to the brand new 30 the second CM, you'll notice that some cuts have already been updated. The compositing work, the lighting, and overall polish have clearly been refined, showing us that the stuff is actively reworking scenes as production continues. Again, even though the original pre-animated trailer PV dates back to 2024, these newer edits prove that the team isn't just reusing old material. They are taking the time to enhance and adjust it so that the final product feels more dynamic and cohesive. So again, for the Kenichiro Aoki PV itself, the stuff has had months, almost a year, to refine it, add polish, and make sure it flows better with the rest of the episode. So what does this mean for the action in Season 3? Right now, people are worried because most of what we've seen now are dialogue-heavy scenes or mostly still frames. And yeah, that is not totally wrong. Episode 1 of Season 3 is adapting chapters that are mostly setup and conversation. I went ahead and actually read some few chapters of One Punch Man manga that will get adapted into episode 1, and obviously those are mostly setup and conversations. Even the dubbing preview that was shown during the Maji Music Festival focused on character moments and not flashy fights. But here's the thing, just because episode 1 is dialogue heavy doesn't mean the whole season will be. Action sequences are coming, and Kenichiro Aoki is almost guaranteed to be the major force behind them. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he steps into the role of action director for the season. His track record speaks for itself. He's saved JC Stuff Productions before with his dynamic fight choreography, and he's already shown that he can handle Garou's movement with precision. So when people say One Punch Man Season 3 will just be still frames, I think they're just jumping the gun. We literally just saw Aoki PV makes its way into the CM, meaning we'll be getting more of Aoki cut in the actual episode itself. And sure, episode 1 won't have much action, but the later episode absolutely will. And that's when animators like Kenichiro Aoki will shine. To wrap things up, the forgotten One Punch Man Season 3 PV is no longer forgotten. Well, at least in my channel, I guess. The cut by Kenichiro Aoki has officially resurfaced in the CM, and this pretty much confirms that it is part of the actual anime production. We are already seeing improvements in compositing and lighting, and with Shinpei Nagai directing the season and the production pipeline seems more organized than it was during Season 2, there's still plenty of reason to be cautious. JC Stuff does have its struggle, but seeing this much effort going into refining a single scene gives me some hope. At the end of the day, what we need now is more proof, hopefully in the next full trailer. Oh my goodness, the OPM is coming. But until then, I think it is safe to say that One Punch Man Season 3 isn't fully doomed yet. And if anything, with Kenichiro Aoki's cut leading the charge, this could be the comeback season fans have been waiting for. So yes everyone, that is my breakdown of the quote-unquote forgotten One Punch Man Season 3 PV and why it actually matters for the anime itself. Do you think Aoki will be again saving another season of One Punch Man, and are you more hopeful after seeing the CM? Please do let me know in the comment section below. And for my next video, I am thinking to actually make a video related to a certain animators that has confirmed their participation in the Season 3 of One Punch Man. It is indeed a very, well, you can say well-known name, a veteran I would say, participating in One Punch Man Season 3. So yeah, please do look forward for it. I'm going to need some time to actually research about him first, so yeah. But yes everyone, as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Izzy Quart, and I will see you in the next One Punch Man video. Goodbye.